thank you, my dear friends, who, you know, I wish I weren't going. I told you in the email that Grant, my stepson, was 13, the night that we got this news, and I put him to bed. And as I stuck him in, I said, is there anything I can do for you? And he reached up and he just looked at me and said, just stay as long as you can. I thought, wow. And I wrote it in that email. That's exactly right. That's great wisdom. That's all any of us can ask. And even if as long as I can isn't as long as I hoped, it doesn't diminish the extraordinary blessings I've had in my life, the extraordinary blessings of you, the extraordinary blessing of you. So I'm thankful for that. And I met a guy, I'm going to tell the truck driver story. I met a guy the day after I set the stage here, on the Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and I find out, you know, I go in and I find out how are things going. Well, they say, you know, it's sort of a good news, bad news. They weren't quite that glib, but it's sort of a good news, bad news story. Good news is we got the cancer in your throat, we got the cancer in your neck. The bad news is it's in your lungs, it's in your lymph nodes, it's in your bones, and you're going to die soon. So that's Monday afternoon. Wednesday, I go in for a second opinion, and I bring Sienna, who was traveling when I got in. I sort of withheld information while she was traveling. I told her when she called, how did the test go? I said, well, great news. They got all the cancer in my throat and in my neck. Come on home. And when she got home, of course, I immediately punched her in the face with the real news, the full news. And Wednesday we went in for a second opinion, and we went in at the same time. And the second opinion we didn't really like as well as the first opinion. And so I asked for the manager, and I made him stick to the original deal. So that's my Wednesday morning. So we hear, you know, this pretty gritty news. They say, you know, I probably have a couple of months, and this is in April. I probably have a couple of healthy months, and, you know, I might have till Christmas altogether. So that's my Wednesday morning. And we go home, and we talk and process, and then I say to her, you know, I need to go out and take care of a couple of errands because I want to scoot up to the store. It was Sienna's birthday that Sunday, and, you know, the boys were leaving that afternoon, and I needed to backfill some presents and card and stuff, so I scooted up to West Broadway where we live, and I parked on a side street, plugged the meter, parked by the car, and I did a couple of stores, and when I came back, there was this big dump truck parked about this far from my car. So and it's not, you know, the engine isn't just construction going on and repaving the road. So as I approach the dump truck, I walk in the center of the road, and I hold my key up, and I, you know, put a happy face on, and I sort of say, you know, that's my car there, you know. What are you trying? And nothing happens, the truck doesn't move. So I get a little closer, and now I make eye contact. I'm pretty much right in front of the grill, and I go, you know, my car right there. Move your truck. And the truck doesn't start. So I inch my way between my car and the truck, and I motion into the window, the passenger side window. That's my car right there, you know, can you move your truck? And he bangs the steering wheel on. And he whips open the passenger side door, says a whole bunch of things that I would never say, and says to me, I see you here, didn't you see the signs? Now, I'm pretty sure there were no signs there when I pulled up. But what I said was, you know, I'm sorry. I said, I had a real bad morning, and I guess I had a bad morning. I said, you know, I didn't see your signs. And he says, you think you had an extra bad morning? I had a worse half a day than you, and I guarantee you that. Well, yeah, if you're going to lob them in nice and slow like that. So I say, yeah, what do you got? And And he says,
I just came from the cancer agency and I'm wearing a bag on my head. And I'm doing cancer treatment and they don't know how it's going to turn out.
and I smile and I put out my hand. And he takes my hand, and he doesn't know why. You can see the anger is still on his face. But he gives me his hand. And I squeeze his hand, and I said, brother, I said, I just came from the cancer agency too. And they do know how it's going to turn out. I've got a few months. And there's a pause. And he says,
Yeah? Well, stay positive. And he slams the door.
And I got out of my car. And I stuck my hand out the window. I yelled, stay positive. And I drove home howling. Stupefied that this was a random stranger, a random angry stranger. Hours after I left the cancer agency and had this morning. And as I told Sienna, I said, you know, don't miss the beautiful two-way message here. This isn't just me colliding with this guy so that he can remember that maybe there's a couple of different ways to look at stuff. This is me being reminded that I could be frightened, angry, and sitting in a dump truck. How lucky am I? And he was right, of course. He was having a worse day. Because he decided. He decided that he was having a worse day on that block. And he was right. And it's hysterical that when you think you're having a bad day, when you're pretty sure you're having a worse day on the block, if you just sort of ask around a little, it's probably a squeaker. So, we have been blessed by many, many funny things that have happened to us, even since this. So I don't want you to think, and I'm telling you this mostly so that you will know, as people who have cared enough about us to come out this evening. I want you to know that, you know, we received this news on April 6th. And there was laughter in our household on April 6th. There was laughter in our household on April 7th. We knew we were blessed on April 6th. We knew we were blessed on April 7th and every day since. We have laughed hysterically. Jeff was quite sure that I was going to have to give him some sort of formal document that he could show people like you so you wouldn't think that he was being insensitive and inappropriate in his laughter. Because, you know, we were laughing so hard, he felt like people need to know that it's okay for me to laugh at this stuff because, you know, I'm making the joke. So, just because we have this profoundly sad thing, the end of a life in our lives, doesn't mean that all the other things that bless our lives are not present. They are. And they're just sweeter for us. So, and I'm very blessed that I live in a house with 3 people that really get this. 2 boys who get this. That's an extraordinary blessing. And I remember that every day. So, yeah, are we sad about this? Absolutely. Do I want to go? Absolutely not. But are we having fun? Yeah, we really are having fun. And so, thank you very much. Thanks for coming to the party. Thank you very much.